Hello, everybody. Welcome to The Heat is On, episode 6. I'm Juicy J. I'm here with.
JG Noise.
Today, we're going to talk about a tough game, a really tough loss.
Yeah,
As you know, we played Boston, our rivals, our nemesis, however you want to say. And I'll tell you what, it was a close game. I'm just happy that we didn't get blown out. Obviously, you didn't have Jimmy. Personal reasons. We're praying for Jimmy. The whole Heat organization and all the Heat fans are definitely praying for you, Jimmy. So come back soon and deal with whatever you're dealing with.
yeah, prayers up for Jimmy and the family. I mean, nobody wants to see Jimmy Butler out. I believe we all had the same reaction when we found out he was out. We're like, this man, we get infuriated because he is our hope and life itself. But when we all saw the reason, I think we all could understand how important something like that is. And man, just prayers up for him and his family. And hopefully we'll see him back after the All-Star break.
Agreed. Definitely agreed. But we're going to focus on the game. Just getting that out of the way. Obviously, pray for Jimmy to come back as fast as possible. But this game, it was a close game, I'll tell you that. We made it real close in the end, and we were dominated for most of the time, and we didn't really have that many leads, but we were there. And we didn't get blown out like last game, and I think that's a very good thing, and especially in a game where you didn't have your best player, and you didn't have two of your point guards because you lost them in the middle of the game. Jay Rich's injury, it was a shoulder dislocation very early in the game. He only played 7 minutes, but still had 2 points and 2 assists. That's a big loss. I mean, that's one of your best bench players, second only to Caleb Martin, who is now a starter. So probably your best bench player right there, you just lost. And then the other loss was Terry Rozier. So that's your 2 point guards, your starting and your backup, gone in one game. Terry Rozier's injury might be a little more serious. Not that Jay Rich's is not, but Terry Rozier got a knee injury. So I think whenever you see a knee injury, you're scared because probably going to have maybe, hopefully not, surgery, or because that will put them out for maybe the whole season. But prayers up for both Terry and Jay Rich. Hope for a speedy recovery. Definitely going to need them in these next few games. But I feel like something that you told me before we talked on this podcast is, well, I'll let you say it. Like the fact in the timing of these injuries. Go ahead.
Yeah, yesterday's game, really quick before I get to what I was saying, really was in a way kind of setting the tone for the playoffs. Is something I can see. I don't think there's been a game this, playoff energy giving that we've had so far. Do you get what I'm saying? Like
No, 100%. I agree.
yeah,
I
I
was
felt like I was
watching the
watching a
game.
playoff
I
game.
told myself several times, I was like, this feels like a playoff game.
Yeah,
And the commentator said the same thing. So definitely sharing that feeling in this game.
the atmosphere was great. Only thing is that I'm gonna talk about before I get to my point is how huge those losses are. And I know you said that I want to go into a little bit more depth. The fact that, you know, Terry Rozier was on his way to have a really, really good game. You could just tell once the first half ended, you felt confident for what was going to come out during the second half. Josh Richardson injury, shoulder dislocation, will be reevaluated in a few weeks, and we're going to go from there. And then we have, of course, like Juicy J said, a knee injury is always scary because you don't know how severe it is. None of us know the timeline. None of us even have a clue of what happened. And we just know he fell hard, and that's pretty much it. So we're gonna wait on updates about that. But Heat fans, you have to look at things in a positive manner, and I think the only positive viewpoint that you can take from these injuries is the timing. Obviously, against Boston was not the best time, and definitely not coming up with our next 2 games with Giannis and the Bucks and Tyrese Maxey and the 76ers. But after those two games comes an All-Star break, which gives the time off that Jimmy needs with his family. It'll be it'll be in sync with the All-Star festivities. So, and all the time that Jay Rich needs, half of it will probably be during the All-Star activities. Same thing with Terry, whatever happened there. So that's my viewpoint on it. Try to take a positive manner from um any negative vibe or energy that comes your way. Always try to look at a positive manner. And that's my positive manner at this, that although the game schedule, the timing isn't great, the just the month and the activities that are planned, it couldn't have been a better time. I prefer it now, obviously, than in March, even if we have an easy schedule, because come March we're only 1 month away from the playoffs, whereas we're 2 months away from the playoffs right now. So yeah.
Yeah, I agree completely. I think it's good to look for the silver lining and stuff like this. Obviously, it's hard to because you just played one game and got two players injured in a game against your rival, but you always got to look for the silver lining. The season's not over just because these guys got injured. Obviously, we know that. We've learned that because Tyler Hero got injured and season kept going. We went to the finals. So, yeah, nothing's over. Nothing is sealed and in the books yet. We're still in this season, and I think we still have a very good shot to get the championship. And these guys, like you said, it's perfect because they're injured now. Take that break in All Star. They should be fully rested up, either that or maybe only 1 week left on their injury. So, yeah, it's going good right now, at least after this loss. But obviously, not a good loss because they did everything in their power, in my opinion. If you just had Jimmy Butler, I think this would be a win. I really do. You had Caleb Martin, who had 15 points and 8 rebounds. He had an amazing game. He had a Kobe shot from behind the backboard. I mean, if you were watching this game, you were thinking that Caleb Martin was back in the Eastern Conference Finals against this same team. Jaime only 6 points, not really that good from our star rookie, but you know what? He'll keep going. He's a rookie. He'll take it on the chin and he'll keep going. Bam Adebayo, 22 points and 13 rebounds. I think Bam just really showed why he's an all-star in this game. I mean, it was incredible what he was doing. He made the first shot of the game, and his shot was just on all night. He was aggressive on the boards. Obviously, he had 13 boards, and I am 100% sure this guy hit every single free throw. And that's when you're seeing that from Bam, when he's not just missing one, making one, that's when you know Bam is locked in and he's playing a great game. But obviously, still lost, but great game from Bam, I believe. I think this is just a great game just because, again, he showed why he's an all-star. He reminded everyone because maybe we were forgetting after the under 20-point games, but this was his first game over 20 points. So, very good game for Bam.
Yeah, and talking about when you were talking about Caleb Martin's performance was a boost that is always needed, and that Eastern Conference Finals, Caleb Martin, we kind of got a glimpse of it last night, and I'm very proud of that. But again, involving the injury, he rolled his ankle, I believe, on that Kobe shot that you were talking about, where when he landed on a ref's foot. Still played through it though, which is, just shows you the kind of team and culture that he have.
He really did have the Mamba mentality on those two plays.
But yeah. So unfortunately, though, I have to bring this up. The next play was a play that infuriated me and filled me with rage. It's the no left hand player / bum who threw Duncan Robinson into courtside seats. I mean, that's you're a professional athlete, and I understand if you have frustrations. We all have frustration, but you cannot just launch another man onto seats, especially because Robinson didn't do anything. He picked up the personal, He was like, okay, I got a personal foul. Then, Jaylen Brown is like, oh, screw you, buddy. Just throws him down. I think that was very unprofessional. And I know this has nothing to do with the Heat, but that's the same thing as Travis Kelce last night. I mean, just unprofessional, uneducated idiots that are paid millions of dollars to play a sport. But yeah, I'm gonna keep my mouth shut on the Super Bowl. America lost. Swifties took over. Nothing much to talk about for that. Back to Duncan Robinson. And this is the main thing right here. The culture of the Heat, and I'll take it back. I mean, prove me right if I'm wrong. But prove me wrong if I'm wrong. But the culture last year was different with the OG on the bench, even though he only played a total of 4 games. But I mean, the energy, the Heat culture was so different with UD on the bench as our captain. And I love Bam. I mean, like you said, um, his rebounds, his points last night. It's just what we need more of a boost. That's what players don't understand. We could
Yeah.
get 19 points and 20 something points and 14 rebounds. Sure, give us that. But what we need is a captain. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
In other
I
words,
do.
if Jimmy Butler was in that game, he would not have let Jaylen Brown, do what he did to Duncan Robinson. He would not let it slide. He would have,
Yeah.
the next possession, draw an offense, like just shove him with his right shoulder through the chest.
Yeah. Just not taking the disrespect that he gives to, your teammates. And I think number one is not being pushed around. And number two is, or what UD gave the team last year that we don't have now as much, not being pushed around. Number two is taking accountability. You like making guys take accountability for a mistake. If a guy makes a mistake, you see him out there screaming at him and making him take accountability. That's what Bam needs to do as the captain. Last year, UD was the captain. He made guys take accountability, and he told people what they were doing wrong. I don't think Bam is the kind of guy to do that. I think Bam is more of a kept to himself guy. I think he's a different captain, and I don't think that's necessarily all bad thing, but that is something that we're missing right now. We're not having guys like as pressed as they were last year to be the best as they were. I don't think just because like Jimmy is not the biggest like leader either. Like he's more of a to himself guy, and he'd rather pass the ball than score 50 points. I get that, but Bam needs to do that if he's the captain. I'm gonna say that. And I'm not going to say he's doing something like necessarily wrong. That's the way he approaches the game. That's his personality. But I think it would be better if he was out there telling guys what they were doing wrong and, just making guys see like the bigger picture that we're all trying to win the game. And it's not always about if you miss a three here and you should be super sad on yourself. And obviously, that's not how we are. That's why we have the Heat culture. But I think you're right. I think the Heat culture and the winning culture was definitely stronger last year. But that doesn't mean that we're that bad off because, you look at last year, we're worse off in the regular season. And we're pretty bad now, not that far from last year, but you know what? We still got it. And we're still going to pick it up like last year. And, we could talk about Duncan Robinson now, I guess. His basketball side of the game. He had 15 points, 2 rebounds, 1 assist. Amazing night for Duncan Robinson. He hit threes, he hit layups, he was cutting, he hit all 3 of those free throws that they gave him. I think he played great. I think he was his comeback game, in my opinion. But obviously, we didn't get the win, so didn't really feel like much of a comeback game. But still, great game for Duncan Robinson. I think he could be, a genuine bench player for us again. I don't think he's, the breaking guy that we had last year in the regular season. But Duncan Robinson, great player. I'm happy to have him back. And now that we haven't talked about, I'll talk about this guy, and then I'll pass it over to JG Noise. Tyler Hero. Tyler Hero had a great game. Don't think that we're just coming over Tyler Hero. We love Tyler Hero here in the Heat his own podcast, unlike some other Heat fans that think he's a shot chucker. We think he's a genuine player. We think he's the best three-point shooter on our team, and he showed it last night, or last afternoon, actually. 24 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists. I mean, he was creating for Bam. He was making shots. At one point in that fourth quarter, he was the offense. He made like 5 straight points and 3 straight buckets. It was incredible. He hit a 3 that was so deep, I thought I was watching the Warriors and Stephen Curry for a sec. It was incredible. Tyler Hero is a genuine talent, and people need to start talking about him more. And that's why I liked that they showed this game on ESPN, because I think the commentators really realized that Hero's actually, like an all-star caliber player. And I don't think anybody has realized that yet. If Hero had all those games to play where he didn't get injured, where he got injured, if he played those games, I truly think that he would have been an all-star this year. Just off of the momentum that he was having in the beginning of the season, he was averaging 26 a game. I think he easily would have gotten an all-star this year. And there's some guys in there that I don't think they should be all-stars, but you know what? Hero didn't get it. That's the end of the story. But great game for Hero. Definitely giving him props for that.
Yeah, 100%. We wouldn't have been able to come as close as we did without Tyler Hero's boost. And again, something that if we would have had in last year's playoff run could have changed the result. So,
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's basically what's killing Miami. Injuries. You hate to see it. And, I mean, as much as you hate them, it's a part of the game, and you're going to have to do with what you have. Come playoffs, I mean, yesterday we lost. Jimmy Butler didn't play the whole game, so I'm going to count that. Jimmy Butler. We lost Josh Richardson. We lost Terry Rozier. Caleb Martin was playing the last, I think, 6 or 7 minutes with a rolled ankle. And Duncan Robinson almost got a shoulder injury because of an idiot. So that's 5 players that I just named. 1, 2, 3. All 5 of them are a huge role to the Heat's offense. All 5 of them. And the fact that we lost by just 4 points is something to look forward to. I don't wanna disappoint any Heat fans out there, but I don't want to disencourage. I want to encourage you guys to believe that this team will be the one to accomplish the lifetime goal of Jimmy Butler and of the current goal of all our current Heat fans out there. So that's just my viewpoint on it. We played the number 1 seed, I think the best team in the NBA right now, according to games won, games lost. But that doesn't mean anything. Come playoffs, it's like we're playing with 0-0 on the standings. That's how I look at it. I don't see it as, the 8 seed is playing the 1 seed. No. Last year's playoff changed my mindset on that. But enough with the playoffs. I know I always get on a tangent, and it's just because every day that gets closer to the playoffs, I feel more excited about it, even though we're 2 months away. But
yeah,
my next point right here is how do you bounce back against Milwaukee now? Because the Heat are holding a practice, so they know they're not playing Jimmy Butler. They know Terry Rozier is not going to play. They know Josh Richardson is not going to play. Those are 3 players, 2 of them in your starting lineup, 2 of them scoring over 20 a night. Obviously Terry Rozier is like maybe 12 or 13 a night as he in a Heat uniform. But how do you come back from something like that? Who's going to be the next man up? And that's what I want to talk about right now.
I think that in this trying time, and like many times before, I'm going to bring up two examples. I'm going to bring up the example of the Eastern Conference Finals last year when we were down or up 3-1, and and then or up 3-0 actually, and then it was 3-3, and Spo shows them a video that he not doesn't disclose to the public, which he never does, which I really respect for Spo. And we go and we win that game in a blowout in Boston. So, and then the another time that this happened in our 7-game losing streak, he has a meeting with the players where they got vulnerable and they called out guys. I think Spo needs to have a meeting with these guys and remind them, hey, we're still in this just because we got 2 big injuries. And I know they know that, but if Spo can just get to them in that moment and remind them and have them still be awake and not just let that game pass and sleep by it and just idly play. If we can get that moment with Spo, I feel like this game will be a lot more winnable than if we just go right on to the next game. And I know he'll talk to them. I know he'll do something. Because Spo's a great coach, and that's why he's the best coach in the NBA right now. Just because of how he connects to these players. I mean, it's incredible. He needs to win Coach of the Year this year when we win the championship, and he will. But yeah, that's why he deserves that contract, and that's why we're gonna beat the Bucks tomorrow. I feel like that will definitely inspire this group and get us in a winning mentality against the friggin' Bucks because it's gonna be a hard game. It is. They are another top team in the East, and we're playing all the top teams in the East right now, which is tough to do at the end of All-Star break. Guys are maybe thinking about vacation right now, but the light at the end of the tunnel should be winning these 2 games. I think that if we win, again, we beat Sacramento, then we beat, I can't remember, but we got, it was Orlando. We beat Sacramento and Orlando, or we beat Orlando after we lost. We went on a 2-game winning streak after the loss, and that just made it really like okay for the Clippers for us to lose that game. It made it okay because yeah, you lose, but then you gain 2 wins. But hopefully that doesn't happen all season. But I'm saying right now we're in that same position. We lost this game. It was a close game. We had a lot of injuries. It wasn't all of our fault. Obviously, we still lost, but you can't be that mad at this loss. But you still can be mad, obviously.
Yeah.
But now you win these 2 games, and you just erase this loss like it never happened. Go into the All-Star break, and you're good.
Yeah. And I mean, Juicy J and I have a busy schedule coming up considering this video, and then we have 2 back-to-back videos. So it's 3 back-to-back videos for you guys. But I mean, it's worth it, man. He Nation, I think one of the best fan bases out there, except for and this is a point I want to bring up. If you're a Boston fan in Miami, like just call your doctor and tell him you're mentally challenged and that you need a 504 and you need to seek help. Because I just couldn't put my mind around the fact that Jason Tatum was shooting 2 free throws to give them, I think, a 3 to 4 point lead. And instead of chanting what should be chanted, which I'm not going to say for intended purposes, but they end up chanting "Let's go Celtics," which holy moly could not make my night any more worse. But overall, I mean, this team is unfortunately in our current state, we're not looking good. But we just got to see. There's no telling how good we will be when Jimmy comes back. There's no telling how his game may be influenced by the current matter, but none of that matters right now. What matters is obviously, giving him the time that he needs and prayers up for him and his family. That's the main thing right now. But yeah, when you come back from something like that, it affects you. It affects you, and we don't know how that affects how that will affect Jimmy. But all we could do until that is wait. Same thing with Jay Rich and Terry Rozier. Will they be any different? Come back from injuries. We've had 2 major injuries this year. The first one being Tyler Hero. I mean, the beginning of the season. That was just a huge loss. When he came back, it's like, correct me if I'm wrong. It's like he didn't lose anything. He was back to himself. Um,
Yeah,
he came back and just balled out and did what he had to do.
almost even better than himself.
Yeah, but unfortunately, it wasn't the same for our rookie, and we're still trying to find the Hawkes of pre-injury. So all we
I'm
could
still
do,
trying to find that Christmas Day hot test.
yeah, all we can do right now is just pray for these players and enjoy the All-Star break. Win or lose against Philly and Milwaukee, there's not much you can do when you have three of your starters out. I'm sorry. I mean, excuse me, two of your starters out, and your six man out. So for those that have to step up during this time, I'm talking about more minutes for Haywood Highsmith. Um, I think we might have to play the new G League guard. I'm not sure, the one we just signed. It might not have
Alondas
to.
Williams.
Yes, it might not have to get to that point, but if it does, I will be interested in how he plays, and that is an. I'm gonna be interesting. I'm gonna be interested in watching him. So that's something to look out for. And worst come to worst, Drew Smith takes off his cast and plays for us. But
Oh God.
hopefully we don't get to that point. And yeah, is there anything else you want to add? I know you wanted to
Yeah,
say something.
I wanna say, yeah, it would be interesting to see Alondas Williams play. And you said a guy's name that I really think needs some credit, and I think he needs to be heard, and I think he needs to be talked about a little bit more. Guy named Haywood Highsmith, who recently, hurt a guy in a car crash, but I guess we're past that, and I guess we're looking forward with Haywood Highsmith. He don't let his stat sheet fool you, because this was a game that he contributed a lot more than meets the eye. If you were looking at this game, you know that Haywood Highsmith came up with some important steals down the stretch. I mean, really important. I mean, there was a shot that we missed that they went out to pass it to Jaylen Brown quickly, and Haywood Highsmith gets the steal. Like, I don't even know how he got it. I mean, the hustle that this guy has. And then on another play in the fourth, he goes, somebody misses a shot. I think it was Duncan or Hero. Haywood Highsmith jumps up in front of freaking Kristaps and in between all these giants, grabs the rebound, gets it out, and I think he got it to Caleb Martin or someone after that. But Haywood Highsmith, and I was saying it while I was watching the game, this is just a guy who's a solid player. And I think we've really developed this guy perfectly. I think he has the potential to be a very solid player, someone who could just knock down. And that's what he is right now, in my opinion. He could make a layup, he could cut, he could rebound, he could knock down a three sometimes. He plays amazing defense. He's just a solid rotation player. And I really think that we did a really good job finding him and a really good job developing him, because if you look back not too far in the future, maybe even last year, Haywood Highsmith was just another Orlando Robinson or Cole Swider. Now he is a genuine rotation player for our team. I'm proud of Haywood Highsmith, and I'm really glad to have him on our team. I think he's a great hustle player, and he could score too by himself. Like, you'll see him. Sometimes he'll throw up a floater, and I'm like, oh God, why is Haywood Highsmith shooting? And he knocks it down. So yeah, Haywood Highsmith, looking for good stuff from him and seeing good stuff from him, that's for sure. He plays defense that you just can't ignore. I mean, he's locking up the best players every single night. But yeah, Haywood Highsmith definitely needs much more love than he's getting right now.
Yeah, 100% agree. And we're gonna need him pretty much now more than we have this year, alongside Caleb Martin. And and the main question: how will these injuries influence Hero's game? Because you lose a another ball handler in Terry Rozier. Because as Terry was into the lineup, they were trying to share the ball. I don't know if you get what I'm saying, but now Hero has sort of the opportunity to just do what he wants with it, be a little more free out there. Same thing with Jay Rich. I mean, Jay Rich is gone, So more and more minutes for Hero, we got to see. I'm just very interested in how that plays out because we all know that when someone gets injured, somebody's gonna go on a run. When Hero got injured, Duncan Robinson became, I think, one of our best players this season. I mean
Oh yeah,
that
really.
that's the margin when Hero was out and Duncan Robinson played. I mean, it was one of the best things I've seen. Another example of this is when Jimmy was out for a while. Jaime Jaquez Jr. became top 3 rookie this year. So can we see Jaime's game come back thanks to these injuries? Possibly yes. So, like I said, Heat fans, try to keep your mind in a positive viewpoint because that's all we can do. And of course, we'll be here for the Bucks game and for the 76ers game. So make sure y'all check us out if those videos are uploaded. But when those videos are uploaded, excuse me. But yeah, I mean that's pretty much it for this episode. We're gonna don't worry about the loss against Boston. We'll clear them from the playoffs. So yeah. Any last thoughts?
Yep, that will bounce back. Don't worry, guys. These 2 wins will make this loss okay, and this will just be another forgotten Boston loss because you need to remember that we still own Boston from last year. We really do.
Oh yeah.
So anything that they do to us, say to us, I don't care if Jaylen Brown says that we're P words and we're scaredy cats, we still own them. So that's really it in the end of the day. And last thing, I just want to thank the viewers. I mean, this is incredible. We're getting so much traction right now out of nowhere, and I feel like it's crazy. And we won't stop. We love this. This is like super fun for me and JG Noise. This has been just a new way to see the game. I feel like we've been watching the Heat forever, but this is just fun, man. I mean, I makes the losses a little bit better. Obviously, not all the way better, but I think I could speak for JG Noise that this podcast. I mean, me and JG Noise look forward to recording it, and we love making it for you guys. So yeah, keep listening and thank you guys.
100%. And yeah, we'll see you guys on the Bucks video.
See you guys in episode 7.